The universe is a pretty big place when you really think about it. In a single clear night, without city lights to ruin the view, you can see thousands upon thousands of points of light as you look up at our cosmic backyard. Each one a collection of millions of stars just like our sun. And you're bound to find that they even have planets orbiting around them just like our own. It really makes you wonder, if it's only just us down here on this little old planet, then the whole rest of it seems like nothing more than an awful waste of space. Today, however, we invite you to envision yourself on this voyage from a slightly slanted perspective, under a new light, that of self-discovery. And if that gives you a sense of profound loneliness, fear not. Each of us plays a unique and privileged role in the grand tapestry of the universe at large. They say that the flapping of a single butterfly's wings can cause a hurricane to arise all the way over on the other side of the world, setting off a chain reaction that will ripple across continents and centuries. Where chaos reigns supreme and every action, no matter how small, has the power to shape the destiny of nations. And in that same vein, we rewind the clock back to the 14th century, to a time of knights and kings, where the fate of nations hung on the edge of a nail. There is a tale of two kings, as much as two rival nations, whose guilt and great shame still enslaved them. But one must follow the thread more closely for truth, as our retelling has envisioned this old tale anew, focusing more now on consequences of lesser detail, the proverb of the Lost Horseshoe Nail. In the days of lords, ladies, peasants and kings, when banking dynasties ruled the purses of empires, the banking powers represented a force of influence that held the ears and pocketbooks of all the mightiest of kings. Further still, in this time before print was commonplace, it was the Habsburgs who not only controlled the wealth of nations, but also the distribution of newsworthy events. One of this era's most newsworthy happenings, royal conquest. And as you may have heard about the 15th century, England and France had been at war for decades, in what we now call the 100 Years' War. Around this time, as fate would have it, both kings and kingdoms were nearly bankrupt due to the costs of the war. The banking elites, including the Habsburgs, Rothschilds and the Medici, had long before discerned that kingdoms rose and fell not by plagues or invasion, but at their very whim. On the eve of a great battle that would decide the protracted war, a deal was made between the bankers and both kings in secret. The deal was this: if it appeared that one nation's armies might lose the battle, and therefore the war altogether, the king of that nation would sign a pre-authored contract transferring temporary title of all their holdings to their greatest ally and confidant, the financier of both sides of the war, the bank. When the battle had concluded and messages were sent to both kings, however, with the bodies of thousands still freshly littered about the blood-soaked countryside, each was told that their side had lost unmistakably. Though supposedly conceived of as a means to ensure the safety of their wealth, lands and power, they were now urged to sign all over all they owned to the bank. In truth, neither side had actually lost as initially reported, but the sinister double-dealing still stood. And history's greatest transfer of power was thus made permanent. The two kings sealed the fate of their nations on a devil's deceit, and the hasty stroke of a feathered quill undid the fate of the whole world.